soundtrack of the morning. I have to turn it down when we videoing because YouTube don't like it. Anyway, you put something in, you take it all out again. Fending corner. I'm going to strengthen that, by the way. Right, scratchy head straight away. The idea is to go out to the back of the stove, a couple of bends, and come along and join these two plastic pipes. I'm going to do that in copper. I don't think taking plastic pipes to a diesel stove is a good idea. So probably a metre and a bit of copper before I go into plastic. Always there's something in the way, and I marked, I don't know if you see that, I marked where the outlets will be, and straight away right in the wrong place. I was sort of concerned that might be the case, so I've got to try and figure that out. But anyway, so the back of the stove, something like so. Can you see it? Right, there's an entrance and an exit on that side, and there's also an entrance and exit on that side. Clearly, I'm gonna have to block some of those up. But so these are the fittings that will go into there. So these are 1-inch BSP tapered. That's important. Okay, so they're obviously too big, because these are for, what's the next size from 22mm? I don't know. 30mm? I don't know. I ain't using that. 22mm. These are too big. So I've not seen these before. These are like a reducing olive. So reduce it down to 22mm. Now what they've said is, let me pop you down, because I hadn't seen these before. Not very soft landing, sorry about that. So the way these work, you throw that way, and these actually fit inside, and replace the olive, and then you tighten down, and that gives you your 22mm output. Now what they say about these is you have to tighten these up really super duper tight, and to a point where they crack. So I think this collar must break as you squeeze it up. So what I don't know is if that's a one-time thing or not. But anyway, I'm not going to tighten that up just yet. But basically, that gives me my 22mm out to 1-inch BSP tapered, which is in the stove. A question I haven't solved yet, and they couldn't tell me in the Plumbers Merchants. Graham's Plumbers Merchant, to be honest, were absolutely fantastic up in Gloucester. Is what to seal these with. Now normally you just use PTFE. I just need to dig around to see if that's the right thing to do on the back of this stove. So I've got to check that. Do it once. Okay, so that's my 22mm outlet, and that will join the 22mm copper to plastic. Great, easy peasy. Also, I was sort of thinking, and this is the stuff I lie away at night thinking about. What if I get air in that stove? Because the stove is obviously above the pipework. It's below the header tank, where the header tank will be. But you could get a serious, okay. You could get a serious, not serious, but an airlock in that stove where there's no water in the jacket. So, again, I didn't want to use solder joints. I think that'd be okay, but somehow solder joints near a hot stove don't feel right to me. But so what I've sort of cobbled together is this. Now these are normally drain points. So where you just saw I got multiple outlets on the stove, in the top of the unused one, I'm going to put one of these. So basically, you'll have that bit of pipe there with a reducer in it. Yeah, I just thought I hadn't got enough reducers then. A short length of pipe, as short as I can possibly get away with. And what they'll allow me to do is pop a bit of hose on here, or put a jar under it or something, and just allow me to purge out the air that might be sitting in that back burner. So that'll do me. I'm happy with that. I know you can get the risers with the air things and the automatic bleeds and all. I don't want that. I don't want to see that so much. Whereas this sat behind the fire, I can get to it. That'll do me. So that's that. Right. So I borrowed a pipe bender as well off my mate. Saved me buying one, because again, one of those things where you keep buying tools, you only use them once. Right, so I'm going to put the stove back on the granite plinth, just to see if I can see how I'm going to get this central heating pipe around. Right, here's the pipe bender, 15 and 22. 22 is the only one I want, and there's the former that goes with it. So my mate's I had a couple of pieces of pipe kicking about that took out from a job, I guess. Perfectly good. It's had water in it, but I'm going to try and use that actually, and at the very least I'm going to try, and my first attempt is going to be with this used pipe. Perfectly usable, why wouldn't you? So and I really need to think about stuff, so now what I sort of don't know is what I can get away with and what I can't get away with. So I'm gonna, this might be awkward in a boat, and it's not very easy either. Oh, let's put that on the floor. Not too bad, just the space is a bit restrictive. Right, that's not a bad bend at all, really. Don't think it wants to come out though. Okay, a few little ripples on the inside, which you'd normally expect anyway. Yeah, right angle bend. Plan B. So yeah, going out the back of here into this cavity here was causing me too many headaches. So I'm gonna have to do what I didn't want to do, which was cut a slot in the granite. So there's the one outlet there, which obviously is now only just 2 bends. And I'll join the pipes up here in a second. I'll take the top one out as well. That's again just 2 bends and a lung, but I'll have to notch that granite out. Like I said, I didn't want to do that because it makes such a lot of a mess. If I'm not an antique enough, I very much look like an antique when I've done this. The amount of dust that comes off these is frightening. So everything's on this one. Here we go. Well, there's the pipes at the back. Yeah, you can see just a spacer and a tile up because the fireboard and stuff. Just working on this surround as well. Why not? This fire's been a bit of a challenge, to say the least. Right, okay, so I've just got to connect these pipes up down here. But now, after a few scrap pieces, I've actually got the pipes into the heat exchanger, or a bit of a, well, that's what it is. Yeah, it's been a real ache. But yeah, it looks like I've finally got it. I was just practicing a load on scrap pieces this morning, and yeah, it's difficult, really difficult. I mean, conduit and stuff's okay, but I used to be okay at conduit and stuff, but yeah, that's been a bit more of a challenge. Just the tight space I've got to get into, and allowing enough for the fireboard and the tiles as well. So it's half in, half out. I don't want that. I want it sitting where I can see it, either gone or not halfway out. So anyway, I think I've got that. Looks okay, I think. Well, we'll do in a second. Okay, so that's definitely gone home. And before I pop that back in, I want to put a clip in there just to hold that in place. My next job is get this diesel line in. There's a few little things I've got to think about there, but anyway. Just nailed a hole through the bulkhead there, so it will come out in this front locker, and that's where our diesel tank's going to go, sort of there. So I'm not using a bulkhead fitting, but I've drilled that out to 8mm clearance, so that the pipe will just pass straight through there. No need to join, no need to cut or anything like that, so just pass it straight through. And then I'll get the diesel line down to the stove. Just cut a little bit of rubber as I bolt that through, create a bit of a seal. It is like an inch above where any water would be anyway, so but I'm just going to put that on there, put the nut on the inside, then hopefully I'll be able to fit that line through. Okay?
Yeah.
It's not the right size, but he's got it.
Pipe.
Right, there it is. Just laid the pipe just on the base for now, because I don't know exactly where I want it just yet. Got to put a filter in here and a stop valve. So right, there's the diesel line coming down. So it goes first through
this valve. So this is like a fire valve, fire trap valve. So basically this vessel here goes onto the hot pipe at the top, and if the water in the jacket starts to boil, or in the pipe starts to boil, then that will shut this valve off and stop the diesel. And there's a little, it just pops this button out here. So yeah, when the button's out, pops out, it's shut the valve off, and then if you need to reset it, you just clip that back in and that's reset then and open. So there's the valve. And then from that valve through an isolation valve and then up into the Toby DVR valve there. So that's like just a short piece that goes in there. So what I'm gonna have to do is mount, I need to make a little plate of some description to actually mount these two, so there's nothing actually on the fire. And I don't just want them sitting wobbling about, so I need to make something for those. Of course, while I'm grafting, somebody's eating. I've had my sandwich already. Fran's been working this morning, so.
Hello, everybody.
Hello, there she is. Right, we're going to try and get this in, because Dave's got our flu. So hopefully in a day or two we'll have that back. And once this diesel line's in, even though the tank's, what was it, 3 weeks away? Even though our diesel tank is 3 weeks away, I might be able to run this on a jerry can and maybe run it on low. We won't have the heating, we won't have the central heating on or anything, but we might be able to run it on low.
Be nice to try it out though.
Yeah, I've got to read the manual on that one because I've got no idea about that particularly. But I do know what I'm doing on here. I know I have to put that valve in series, in that line. So if it does boil over, it shuts the diesel off. You can see the two pipes there that are sticking through the granite. Put the fireboard on here as well, and then once all these lines are through, I can fix the hearth down. Not quite sure I'm doing that yet. And I've also got to figure out how to bolt the fire down. So for BSS, the fire needs to be bolted down as well. But yeah, you can see those two pipes that caused me so much grief. But they are in now, so move on, forget about it, crack on. And yes. So right, let's see if I can find out how to put these, somewhere to put these valves. Right, now the pipe works all mocked up, sort of. Yeah, it is. It's all mocked up. Looking at installing the fireboard now, even though it was cut sort of rough, behind the stove and tiling it as well. Not going to use normal tile adhesive. Looked online and there's some people yes, some people no. Anyway, this stuff is quite powdery. And I'm just concerned that the normal tile adhesive won't eat into this very well. So I'm going to use my trusty Obi one. Why not? Seems to work. I don't think this will get particularly hot anyway, so should be okay. Anyway, I'm going to go with that. So it's an industrial adhesive to glue those on. Then we'll just grout them anyway, like we would normally. But we're just cutting these down a little bit because
we've decided to make them a bit shorter.
So I've just taken the top off. Top off. For you Pipkins fans. I'm also going to tile these flat on the deck and try and mount these in a way that if I ever need to, I can get them off. So, you know, if I was to screw here then tile, then I'd have to break the tiles to get this board off. Can't see why I'd ever want to go in there, but you just never know. So we've actually cut this. We've actually measured this, haven't we? So there's Ah, that, yeah, I was going to say that doesn't look right. The other one sits behind that, doesn't it? So. Getting close to, not even close. It's a good idea to have an air gap at the back of this board. The heat of this stove ain't going to make any difference, but I've just used some copper rings. I've just cut some pipe just to give me, what, no more than a 10mm gap, air gap at the back. Again, it is a bit bib and braces, that, especially with a stove that, a diesel stove, that 2 kilowatts of the heat will be taken. Is it 2 or 3? I can't remember. A lot of the heat will be taken away by the rats. So anyway, this just gives, like I say, that little bit of air space. So it's that's bloody awkward. If I drop that, I've got to take it all off. So be really careful with this board. If you do overstress it, all I'll do is break the corner off. Like that. Oh yeah, I was going to put that on so it was removable. Yeah, I shelved that. I can't really see why, touch wood, though I would have to get behind there. There are, like I said before, there's no connections behind there.
I've just cleaned that.
I know, so it wasn't like a dirty with them. Good news is Dave's done the flue, isn't he?
Yep. So we're off to pick it up.
So we're off to pick it up. We might meet him at the pub, do you think?
Might.
Will. Well, okay, we're going to get the flue and throw that in. I'm really quite keen to see that. We'll get some stuff, get that tiling finished tomorrow, eh?
Yeah.
Start to look at the surround.
Yeah.
The wood surround, and it'll really start to come together. I think that will then. It'll feel the part of the boat when it's where it's just been stuck there for ages. So, right, let's go see Dave. Yes, I know this is OTT, but I can't find the correct spanner, so oops. that should be enough. Right, so now it's this one. Let's just check there's an olive in there. There is. So now the other bracket's going to sit there. Right, and then there's just the one. Okay, there's the fire valve and the isolation valve. Right, just preparing to run this stove for the first time. Are worth heating. Recommended that I use rope to seal this collar. Very tight, mind. Lightly put a couple of turns of that in. Once I know the fire isn't coming back out. So I've overlapped the end. Right, you can actually see that that flame is sort of turning colour now. Maybe as the diesel starts to catch and the firelighter is doing less of a job. So that's after about 3 or 4 minutes. Of course, now we've got a fire on board. Not that kind of fire. I bloody hope not. Then absolutely the first thing that needs to be done is carbon monoxide alarm. Right, I've got that up on full now. I quite like the flame effect, that's pretty cool. I don't know if the camera will pick it up. Maybe you can. There's quite a lot of smoke in the boat. Pretty sure, because I've had log burners before, that it's just the paint sort of burning off. Not off, but you know what I mean. I can't see anything escaping anywhere or anything like that. So it's just the everything getting hot and sort of gassing off a little bit. So I'll just keep an eye on that. So running it maximum, just so I can you know, burn that off a bit quicker. There's nothing coming off. I've got to brush all this stainless steel flue yet and get that label off. Hoping that'll sort of dry out and come off a little bit easier when it comes back out. But yeah, it's just on its first test, its first fire up. Looks quite nice, I think. Obviously the back boiler's not working yet, but yeah, that'll be some way off, I think. But I've got the plugs out of that back boiler, so there's no chance of any pressure build-up or anything. So, but yes, there we go. Do you know, sometimes everything you've done, you can finally see the result of it. But there's a little bit more work to do around the fire, but hey ho, that's fine. So yeah, I'm going to turn that down now, which is just here. You can't do this with the log burner, can you? Which way is it? That way. So if you turn that down, so that's now down on I think about 2. So you'll see the flames start to die down a little bit there, which they have done pretty much right away. And hopefully that will sustain a flame. So yeah, a lot of people are telling me that they just run them on 2, they just leave them there. Obviously if you want that little bit of burst of a heat, then you can, but you can turn it up. But yeah, there we go. I don't really want to run it too hot because those tiles are still pretty... Oh, they've all gone off though. There's not really a great deal of heat there, to be fair. That's how I feel. Yeah, that's not going to hurt anything. These don't get as hot as a log burner. So can you see this? Oh, you can. Yes, I think you can see the sort of the smoke, if that's the right word, just coming off there. So I'm just got the door open and venting that out, just while it settles down. We've had log burners before, and they all seem to do this. So there you go. Phone's having a bit of a dust up. A dust up? Hey, that punch up. Anyway.
Dust. Everything's covered.
Right, I'm just going to fit the CO alarm, carbon monoxide alarm. Just lit the fire again, just as let it go out last night. Don't want to leave it on until we're 100% sure, but nice and easy to light. Fan had a bit of an instruction on how to do it as well, so she...
Whether I ever do is a different issue.
Whether ever does it is not. Well, once it's lit, it will be done in the winter. That'll be it.
I would have had to if you were still working away.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. Well, it would still be on, wouldn't it? So I'm going to fit this there, and we've had a bit of a tidy up. I've just been doing some woodwork around the fire as well. It's not done, but it's started. And I've dulled off the chimney a bit with some sandpaper as well, make it look a bit more satin than gloss. So, sort of that. Yeah, I've just marked. These are quite hard to fit, these are. They don't come with a template. So I've just got a piece of paper with a known square edge that I can just mark the holes. And then when... So we just
doing a snagging list.
So we were just saying, yeah, they don't need to see me putting a bloody screw in the wall. We just again we're trying to finish this part as much as we can before we move on into other jobs. So we're like, there must be a few bits. Let's write a bit of this. There can't be that many.
How many is there?
I didn't even count. So yeah, there's some quadrant got a sit along the top, so that's why it's a bit lower. Right, fire's on. You're going to have a shower?
I am.
And
Tea's on.
Tea's on.
Fire's on.
Tea's on. Fire's on. Beer's open in a bit. I think.
Relax.
I think that probably does for today. So you've seen the fire up and going. Happy days for us. That seems like a big achievement. It is a big achievement.
And you were stressed last week, weren't you?
I was stressed last week.
So thank you everybody.
Yeah,
for
thanks
all
everyone
the
for the comments. It was really
fantastic.
great.
Boosted him up.
He did. You could always send rum and whiskey. That would boost me up. No, that would stop me working dead. No, it did. It was great. It was quite uplifting, and some very personal messages in there for the people that have maybe gone through similar things. So yeah, fair play to you. Right. Okay. Thanks a lot. We'll say tatty bye.
Tatty bye.
Don't know what we're doing next week, do we?
The snagging list. Mind you, we'll knock them all off over the weekend, won't we?
No. Jesus. No, we won't knock them over the weekend.
We'll get most of them done.
No, we won't. I think there's... I'm just going to say we'll get some done. We can get all of them done. But yeah, it's finishing the fire off, trimming that, grouting, getting all that really nailed off. So that's all done. I think it looks fantastic there. And it will do once the wood surrounds on there, I'll start to do. We've got some buffalo board for the top of the step and the... Is that the threshold? I suppose. Is there a threshold on the boat? There might be. Not talking shit. Anyway, right, waffling. We're getting on with stuff. See you next time, guys. Thanks so much for being with us, and we really appreciate it. See you guys. Oh, press the subscribe.
Yeah, keep giving us the subscribes. We've reached over our 2,000.
Oh yeah, we did. Oh yes,
So,
congratulations to us and
yeah.
you. We got to 2,000 subscribers in the week
we're
last
over
week.
that now, so that's been a nice big
Just
hurdle.
over a year. Just over a year, and we're quite happy with that. That's fantastic.
So thank you all.
Okay, yeah, thanks a lot. Right, see you next time, guys. See ya. Bye. Bye. Bye.